I was at a conference recently and someone said to me, oh, I don't need a succession plan. I just had my estate plan done. And I said, oh, okay, let's talk about that. And the person I was talking to just slowly but surely started going lighter, whiter, like finally ghost-like, and looked at me and went, oh, okay, yeah, no, I need you.
This is Christopher.
And Katherine.
And our guest today, Sue Dawson. I'm sorry, I'm having so much fun today. Yes, this is your favorite 401 couple. All right, Christopher and Katherine Tipper of Hunter Benefits Consulting Group.
There's so much excitement today because we have my dear friend, Susan Dawson, who I've known for a long time, both in her business and personally here. And you can see that there's a theme and a level of energy we don't normally have. And that's actually just very true of whenever you're with Susan. There's a level of energy. She levels us all up. So she is a business lawyer, and there are legitimate reasons to work with her, not only to have fun, but to also work on succession planning with your business. So the other thing that we do, as you might see what's happening right now, is we always have our guests have their snack or their special thing and their treat. And of course, with Susan who loves Star Wars, we have Skywalker wine, and it is legitimately from Lucas. Right. So thank you, Sue.
You're
for bringing the energy, bringing the entertainment.
For coming for this. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely makes a day of it. So Susan, tell us a little bit about what your business is, what you specifically do.
Sure. So I am a co-founder of Navigant Law Group, which is, we have two components to the law firm, but I oversee the business department, which includes anything associated with your business needs and operations, but also management side, employment law, commercial real estate, with a heavy emphasis on succession planning, which we're going to talk about today, and also certified owned businesses. So your minority owned, women owned, veteran owned, certified businesses.
We first met in
years ago.
We've been in different organizations together. So in the organization not to be named, and it's a Star Wars theme, right?
Yes, I got it. No, that's more Harry Potter.
Okay,
that's one of our other obsessions. But anyways,
so we met years ago in an organization. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So lightning round. What legal myth would you like to bust?
That all lawyers are out for themselves and they're used car salesmen. I mean, the thing that I think there's bad and good in all industries, right? Yeah. But what people forget is that most people go into law because, well, a lot of people, they go into law because they want to help people.
Yeah.
And I genuinely want to be a part of my clients' teams. I talk them out of spending money on me all the time. Don't tell my business partner; she'll get really mad at me. Okay. But like I have this thing that we do, or what if a client says to me that they want to sue someone, I say this, great, let's do it. I can't wait. I would like to buy a boat. And they go, huh? And I go, yeah, I've been wanting to buy a boat.
I want to bring back 100 bottles of wine.
Right. Okay. I've been wanting to buy a boat. So let's do it. Let's sue them. And then I say, okay, in all seriousness, this is really what you're doing. You're putting money into my pocket, not into your business's pocket. Right. What are we doing here? And then we have a serious conversation. So maybe that's not where you're going with that question, but honestly, that's me. I really try to get out there and explain. You know, I did a speaking engagement recently, and someone said their number one takeaway from it was that they could tell how much I care about my clients. And that really meant a lot to me. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's nice. Do you have a favorite productivity tool or app?
That's not a lightsaber.
That's not a lightsaber?
It's or corkscrew.
Oh, that's taking too many things out of the equation.
Productivity tool or app. Okay.
Well, for work.
Yeah. Yes. Well, no. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about Star Wars, that's a whole. We go on for hours. There is a rule in my social rule: don't bring up Star Wars because Susan will not stop.
Okay.
We'll talk. I would say that right now, my favorite tool is Trello. I love Trello. We're not using it as much for business anymore, but I love Trello because I love to make lists.
Okay.
It's a list making app, but it has workflows and automations, and it's just amazing. But sadly, we don't use it for my office anymore. They took it away from me, and now I'm learning Asana, and that's fine. But Trello is my go-to.
Yeah, but Asana has Kanban boards too, don't they? Can't you make the same kind of
Not like you can on Trello.
Not the same user interface? Okay.
Trello has really interesting ways to make lists.
Okay.
That's cool.
Anyone who's gone on a vacation with me, like I just came back from Japan, this 2-week Japan trip. I did a whole Trello board on our Japan trip. I mean, everyone did a Trello account.
We used to use it.
Take notes.
Yeah. No, it's all right. I used to use it. All right. Next one.
So if you were not a lawyer, what would you be?
Is this a real world scenario or a fantasy world scenario?
No, real.
Hey,
I think.
I
always say I want to come back as a CIA agent. Is that what you mean?
Oh, okay.
But
that would be fun.
But
is it too late?
It is. It is too late.
Okay.
Sadly. But I went to school. Well, I always wanted to be a lawyer. I've wanted to be a lawyer forever. My parents didn't want me to go to law school or be a lawyer. So they sent me off to school, told me I was not allowed to take any classes that would lead me to law school, and made me take PR and marketing as a major. So I'd probably be somewhere in that world. But then I graduated and took the LSAT and told them, tough, I'm going to law school.
What myth did your parents have about the legal profession? Bottom feeding
thumb suckers. That's what my mom refers to lawyers as.
Now okay. So your answer to the legal myth in this is just absolutely, that I do find that a little surprising. Okay. However, because of what you just said, I do remember one of these days I was years ago, I was in a Denver attorney's office who was a client, and he was an honest to God ambulance chaser. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting in the room. He kept ignoring me. I had an appointment. He was talking to his assistants. He was talking to clients. I really felt like I needed a shower when I left. So, but that's like once in the 36 years I've been doing this and dealing with lawyers.
Well, interestingly, I'm also your client. And
no, I know that.
My office.
I know that. No, I know. I remember. So, yeah, I wasn't sure if we were going to say that. So.
No, it's okay. I tell everyone. Okay. Am I allowed to tell everyone?
Of course you are.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Because when I work with people, I want to work with people I know and trust. So, of course.
Yep. You got one more.
Favorite place to travel to?
Skywalker Ranch.
Well, Skywalker Ranch is pretty up there. Don't get me wrong. I do like Skywalker Ranch. It's not a location necessarily I love Disney cruises. So if you said favorite place, like if I was going to pick anywhere to go on vacation, I'd want to get on a Disney cruise ship, which, Star Wars, Disney, what have you, but they don't all have Star Wars components. Right now, I always say to people, many of them do. I always say it's just where I'm at with my world right now. I'm so busy. I've got my business. I've got my kids. I've got my life. I'm so busy. The idea of being able to go on a 2-week vacation and I don't have to unpack, but I get to see different things and right. I love water. Okay. So I love to just sit in my veranda and just stare at the ocean. And I work when I go on these trips, and it's just a really relaxing place. And then specifically Disney, because it's such a gorgeous high end cruise ship. And I just know, like, if I go in on the ship, I know where everything is. Right. It's kind of like people who they love to go to their vacation home, or they go to the same hotel when they go on vacation because they know. Right. But mine moves. So, for example, we're going on a Disney cruise next summer to Norway. Oh. Right, and doing the fjords, but we're doing on a Disney cruise ship. So there's that comfort of I've been on that ship before. I know the ship. I know all that expectation, but I'm seeing something new. So. Oh, that's
interesting. Okay. So I'm going to add one on because of what you just said, and this makes it not a lightning round. So what's the Star Wars series that goes in between Rogue One and A New Hope that's supposed to last for 5 years?
Andor?
Yes.
Oh, the TV show.
The TV show.
Andor?
Is that worth watching?
Well, yes.
Okay.
It is. Okay. Star Wars and Andor is elevated. It is what I would say though is very different from what you expect. Yeah, well, that's so when you get started, you have to. There's slow builds with a lot of Star Wars shows, and get through the first few episodes, because in the beginning you might be a little like, I don't really know what's happening. There's no lightsaber battles. There's no. It's not.
Right.
It's about the people of building the rebellion. It's not about all the characters and aliens and that kind of stuff.
Succession planning? Okay.
Yes,
All
very
right.
much so. Very much
It is a type of succession planning, isn't it? Revolution is a type of succession planning.
Well,
okay. Keep going,
in
dear.
the succession planning program, we do a whole event called The Skywalkers and Other Really Bad Succession Planning Ideas.
Okay.
It's a whole, that Katherine knows because she's been through the program. It's a whole day.
Well, it's like a variation of getting hit by a truck, but this also involves being bit by a zombie or maybe stabbed with a lightsaber.
That's the whole I got bit by a bus day. So Skywalker and Other Really Bad Succession Planning Ideas. The idea is people don't realize that Star Wars is really just a family drama.
Yeah.
It's set in space.
Right.
It's a family drama.
Okay.
And there's a family business.
Yeah.
Which is, the Force and the Empire. So, Darth wants his son to take over the family business, which is the Empire, but they all carry the Force with them, whether it be light or dark. And so I pull in the Skywalkers and other really bad.
Okay, so I thought so you're actually talking about that. I thought you were saying George Lucas has, because we're talking about Skywalker.
No.
I thought George Lucas has done bad family.
No,
dude, what?
No, George Lucas, he's got amazing people.
He's done it right. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
No, but I mean, I use the Skywalkers as an example of
interesting.
Right. And in the end, they actually really left it to an employee because Rey isn't a Skywalker, and she, so got to pivot. There's so many ways I can do Star Wars.
So out of I feel let's not talking about a wrist. I feel so out of my depth. All right,
Did they need a retirement plan in order to keep the employees in place?
Maybe. Yeah, okay. See if you can bring us back on track there. I dare you.
Okay. So there is an intersection between...
That's what we need. We need a cutscene for an intersection.
There's an intersection.
Okay. So there's an intersection between our two businesses. And part of it is just succession planning and I'd say hazard planning for your business falling apart. You need really good employees. And how do you do that? And if you're going to make it that you can actually leave for a day, leave for a week, leave for 3 weeks, you need to do some of the process of succession plan. It is not just write a power of attorney, leave a few instructions, hope for the best. And so the cross sections of our two businesses are the planning that it takes to make your business even better. And you could even say that having a retirement plan shows that you actually are thinking about your employees. You're thinking about where you go. You actually can follow basic tax rules, right? Because you should, even though you may need a lawyer to pull you out of it because you can't. But in terms of, so this is a subject that makes sense, right? Okay. So I'm leveling that part out. So then I'm talking about why this is so important, because right now, nearly 2/3 of family-owned businesses don't have a documented and communicated succession plan. Okay. It's estimated that only 30% of small businesses successfully sell, leaving 70% without a buyer or successful plan for what happens next. In that organization to be named that we were part of, I once sat at a lunch where someone they were retiring and they gave their clients over to someone else in a meeting without money. And I'm like, wow, value just went in front of me.
Yeah.
No plan. Do you have a question?
No,
or you just
I'm waiting for the question for the guest.
Okay. I'm just reading some background.
I know that.
Are you impatient?
I'm all good. I'm just sitting back drinking my wine.
So
according to
one survey, estimated 73% of privately held companies in the U.S. plan to transition ownership within the next decade. Nearly half of surveyed businesses owners plan to exit their company within the next 5 years. Although most surveyed business owners are aware of succession planning, many do not see it as urgent. 63% say it's too early, 45% are too busy to begin. So it sounds like a crisis, right?
Right. So it's basically, do you agree with these numbers?
Yeah, actually, I think they might be somewhat low.
You mean optimistic?
No,
low that most people are planning.
That's what I mean. Yeah. These numbers are optimistic.
They say 30%
really is.
With the statistics, yes, that actually have a plan. I mean, I think there's less. I think that there's a lot of people, business owners who think they have a plan, but they don't. What they have is an estate plan. And that is not a business succession plan.
No.
And so they think they have a plan. I've had those conversations with people and they say, oh, well, I don't need a business succession plan. I just had my estate plan done. The estate plan is planning for transfer of your personal assets. We're avoiding probate. We're minimizing taxes. We're ensuring that your assets go into the hands for an event of death that you really you want it to go. But a business succession plan is about
You're supposed to live afterwards.
well, but a succession plan
Right.
usually isn't
A couple of things.
isn't always about you dying. It's about you surviving. But in a case where you do sadly die, and I've had this happen with clients unexpectedly, they pass away, and all they have is an estate plan. And the problem is a number of problems. One is most estate planners will say, who should be the power of attorney for your assets? And they just name your spouse. They don't say, now who should be power of attorney for your business is a separate matter, because they just name the spouse. Okay. And then what happens when you were hit by a bus? If you were hit by a bus, where's your spouse? Your spouse is in only one of two places.
With you or not.
They're on the bus or they're at the hospital fielding all the phone calls,
Right.
they're fielding doctors' questions. They're maybe young children. They're trying to do that. Maybe your parents are still with you.
CNRs, yeah.
They are not, there's no emotional bandwidth to make sure payroll happens tomorrow. And with so many small businesses, they operate in a way that they don't operate without the owner very well, right? And so now your spouse, sure, you trust your spouse until you name that individual, but that person is not, especially for the first 30, maybe 60 days, in any way able mentally, have the emotional bandwidth to make the serious decisions in a way that needs to be made on behalf of the business. So most estate planners don't go into the depth of, now let's talk about your business. And that's fine, because that's not necessarily the estate planner's role to make sure that the business can survive your death in a way that you can sell it for value as opposed to a fire sale. Because one of the statistics that's not on there, and I haven't looked at the statistics, so I'm not going to say it's somewhere like 70 or 80%, but I'll find the statistic of sales that get listed that are successfully sold are fire sales. They're not actually planned out sales. So there's the completion of a sale. A sale did occur, but it wasn't for full value because you didn't have a plan and an emergency event happened in your life that triggered the need for a sale, right? So there's that statistic that's not out there. And one of the things when I talk to people about succession planning, they say, you heard, oh, it's not ready. I'm not ready. I'll deal with that down the road. And everyone forgets that you get hit by a bus at any time.
Right. I mean, because I'm wondering what the overlap, this is 30% of small businesses. I'm wondering what the percentage of small businesses with a 401k plan sell, because that would be a little bit more planning, because we lose clients, but mainly when plans are terminated, it's because of bankruptcy. So I guess bad business planning or stuff happens. So, or because of bankruptcy, or they're terminating the plan before they're selling the business. Okay. So we don't have very many terminating the plans with nothing else going on afterwards. You know what I mean? It's not so that would mean 70% of our clients are terminating their plans without anything going on. And I don't think it's that high. It's got to be less than 50%.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if there's a correlation between having a 401k plan, and it may still be a fire sale,
right,
but they still got something. Okay. Because I do hear about people. There are some dentists I know that have just closed their practices. We just had a client sell his practice for millions. So why are some dentists giving those up for nothing? So interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. There's the market is bad for a lot of businesses, and that goes more into the there's a gap between the baby boomer generation and the millennial generation. The Gen Xers are a much smaller generation. And not in terms of time, but in terms of numbers.
Right.
So there aren't as many Gen Xers available to take over from the baby boomers.
Right.
So there is a a talent emergency or a succession emergency of who is taking over.
So they can buy multiple businesses then.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, but do they have the skills or the desires to do?
Right. So what part of the succession planning for the business side do you get involved with? Do you get involved with the operations so EBITDA is better, or that they have some concept of what EBITDA is or what it means to sell? I mean, what is your level of involvement?
Where I get involved is sometimes at the beginning, because people just don't know what are their options. A lot of times so I have a succession planning program called Embark, and it's called Embark because it really is about, you're just starting to figure this out and you don't know what your options are, right? And so I work with you on, here are the available options, which one works best with you, and how are we coming up with plans, right? So there's that program. But then there's individuals that know what their succession plan is going to be. And then I'm really involved in the documentation of the succession plan. But no, I'm not helping you get a better EBITDA. And I'm not a business coach. I'm not an accountant. And when you go through the program with me, one of the things I talk about a lot is that I'm going to help you understand who you need to build in terms of your team to put your plan together, right? And one of those would be your financial planner, your TPA. You want to build that financial strength within your business, because what Katherine and I were talking about when we realized this intersection is that 401k plans can be used for employee retention.
Yes.
Right. And
we've got a few videos on that.
Whether or not however you're going to transfer, right, unless you're merely selling a client list, right? Unless that's all you're selling. But if you're actually selling an active operating business, your employees are key to any structure that's involved, whether you're going to sell outright, whether you're going to transfer to employees, whether you're going to transfer to your family. Keeping good employees is key. And that's where we were like, whoa, that really is quite an intersection, because a properly done, 401k program can operate. And I'm sure there's other things that you know outside of that as well, but they can really operate to help with employee retention. So, but I identify those situations and send people off into the world with trusted advisors to fix those problems. I'm not coming in and putting your 401k plan together. I would say we're calling Katherine and Christopher.
Yeah, well, that would be lovely, because there's also cash balance plans and ESOPs. There's a variety of different things.
If somebody decides they want an ESOP, then I come back in to help do the documents associated with the ESOP.
Okay.
But I'm not necessarily doing every aspect. Right. Everything is a team. You need a good team of professional advisors around you.
Interesting.
What other questions do you have? Christopher always learns by coming.
I just come to these things to learn. Because I'm thinking more in terms of, there are a lot of, most of the people I've dealt with when I was in Vistage they weren't doing what you were doing. They were the business coaches worrying about EBITDA and getting your EBITDA up so your multiplier can be greater and things like that. But it's so funny, because like so many people we deal with, they're like, oh, you sold your business. Was it an asset or a stock sale? I don't know.
Right.
How do you had one asset in the world and you've sold it once? How do you not know how you sold it?
Right.
No, it's just yeah. So we find a big disparity, because we've done 10 little acquisitions and they weren't all the same, but all 9 of them, it was the only sale they would ever make.
Interesting.
Okay. So there was a lot, everything was a surprise. Okay. So and none of them were dealing with somebody like you. So maybe that hopefully with one of the nice offshoots of working with somebody, your role is they have a better understanding, maybe a little less emotional, a little bit more analytical view of what they're getting into.
And they don't understand their options too. And that's one of the things about the program is I make everyone have a plan A and a plan B. Because if your plan A is that you're going to transfer to your daughter, let's say, Well, what if something happens to your daughter? Because anyone can get hit by a bus at any time, right? Or what if your daughter wakes up one day and says, you know what? I really don't want this business. This isn't my future, right? And what do you do?
No.
You know that.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. That's not hypothetical. Thanks, Susan.
Well, I mean, I have an individual, that, a client that had their succession plan. This was before they came to me for the program. Their succession plan was an employee. They had a 30-year-old employee who had been with them for years and was being trained and groomed and modeled and whatever to take over the business, and was really like, this person had it done and set, and they were in their, the owner was in their mid 60s and was like, great, within 5 years, I'll be done. This person will take over, have it. The 30-year-old died.
Yeah.
And now that's all they were planning on, was this individual to take over. And they've been working on it for years. But now you have no plan B. And now you have to start over.
Yeah.
So my big thing is we're going to pick two, a plan A and a plan B. And we're going to work on them together. So your plan A might be to sell. But what if you can't sell outright? What if there's no buyer? So maybe plan B needs to be, let's keep an eye on what employees we have here that could potentially go up into and purchase, right? So that's a big thing. And so I work with making sure they understand their options. What are the pros and cons? What can go wrong? What can go right? And then after the program, you've picked a plan A and a plan B, and you've started the plan, right? And you're putting the team together. And then they continue on with me, and we just have touch points and where are you at? And a lot of times too, there's just a general, I haven't done anything. And I'm like, it's okay. You're busy. We're going to get you back on. That's why you're on this call. We're going to get you back on. We're going to get you moving again. But I try to, it seems so overwhelming to so many people. It's just immense. And so one of the things I do in the program is I show them how to break it down into really small, manageable bites. So you don't have to be quite so overwhelmed. So
well, you also
like
do group things. And what I've told you before, I thought about your group things is it helps to have other people around you that both know things and don't know things. And they give you ideas, and that kind of diffuses that anxiety that I need to be perfect in my plans, or
that everyone else has it together and I don't.
Right. And that there's more options, and actually what I have is worth something. So maybe I should deal with it.
Right. So I'm wondering what the definition of a small business and a family-owned business is. Okay. Because there is no clear number as to how many there are. It's anywhere from 10 to 12 to 16 million different small businesses. And some of them, if you've got a Shopify account, all right, and you're selling stuff, you're technically a small business. So so where are these numbers come from? Even though you're thinking 30% of small businesses successfully sell, that still seems like such a low number. Seems like such a low number to me.
Well, I don't think they have it's not like we record sales anywhere. So I agree with you.
True. Yeah. Where did they get this from?
So a lot of these statistics, my understanding, come from surveys from different organizations that are going out there and trying to come up with statistics. But there's no registry of sales.
It's not part of the annual census, is it?
No.
Well,
where these numbers specifically come as firms that buy other firms, right? These things that I have. So you do have private equity that's going out and looking to buy firms in general. And so these are numbers that they pull out of that. And so some private equity is going out and trying to get little things here and there and put together portfolios that they bring up in value and then sell to someone else. So that's where these numbers come from. But you're right that it's almost like just a mystery of what's out there when it's the smaller business market.
Okay. I have possibly an incendiary question.
Okay.
Well,
you have the Darth Vader lightsaber.
Well, thank you very much. Because when I'm on calls with people, I do tell them I'd make, and maybe this is a myth too, so don't get mad at me. I do tell people I'd make a lousy attorney because I ask questions I don't know the answers to. Okay. And I don't think this would help in our business, but is somebody better? Obviously, somebody. So we've got somebody who does absolutely nothing, and we've got somebody who's engaged your services, or somebody who does your services, and so that's your A and your B. Is somebody in the middle who's used Chat GPT to come up with a plan on their own, are they better off than the person who's done nothing? Is there any benefit? Is there any help there? Or is AI just only going to make it worse?
I've not used AI to try to create a succession plan, so I can't speak to the quality of work. But I think as with anything, AI is just going out in the world and looking at what's out there and gobbling it up together, right? So when you create a legal document from that perspective, it's never tailored to you. It's missing that personal touch. I mean, there are people who use templates for things, and but they're really not designed. They're designed to work for everything and therefore nothing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, understood completely. Yes. Okay.
So I always, if you're building a business and you're in the beginning stages, and I always say every penny counts.
Yeah.
And I do not dismiss people that go online and create their own documents at that phase, because honestly, their money just every penny counts, and they just didn't have the resources at that point. But once you have the resources, now it's time to. So AI has its place, but not at the levels that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone who has a Shopify account that wants to sell their Shopify account.
Okay.
Even in that situation, I mean, people get ripped off because they pull this stuff off the internet, and then the buyer never actually pays, and it's a hot mess, right? But when I talk about small businesses, I'm talking about they have employees and they're operational and they have they're a little bit more substance to them. That doesn't mean I don't have clients that don't have employees. Those are coaches that I help transfer. But that's when you're doing that, you're selling your proprietary information that you've established, your program, and you're selling a client list. It's really all you're selling.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Katherine, you've got the story question?
I do.
Unless you're
Well, she kind of talked about the story a little bit. Like, one thing that you and I have in common is the work that we do. People's common assumptions are like, "Oh, I get it," right? Like 401k plans. It's a product. I can go get it off the web. What's on the web is perfectly lovely. Why do I need to spend more than $200 on this, right? And so you and I have this, and I feel like you kind of answered this a little bit, but you did, the last time we talked, you did have a question. You did have a thing where you talked about, like, even people who commonly know you, who know you through things, are like, don't understand the gap between what you can do and what it seems. I don't know, like, maybe I'm telling the story and not doing a question, but it's just like, what do you want people to really know? Like, what is the little thing that makes people's brains turn over to going, I need to plan more? Is it like to hear a horror story of someone else?
Usually that's what triggers it. Everyone thinks they're fine and they'll deal with it later. And then the stories, I have a list of stories. I have other people that tell stories about situations that have happened to them. I mean, you've been in the cohort experience, so people will talk about, a lot of things. A lot of times what triggers people to really want to get started with this is something horrific happens to someone in their world, and they realize, oh my goodness, this could happen to anyone at any time, right? The problem is if you are in the middle of dealing with that perfect situation or whatever, that stress point, whatever that is that you're in, you're not emotionally able to make well thought out decisions at that time. So that's why it's better to do it in advance. But there was I think one of the stories you and I talked about is I was at a conference recently and someone said to me, oh, I don't need a succession plan. I just had my estate plan done. And I said, oh, okay, let's talk about that. We went through who is your power of attorney? Oh, my husband. Okay. And he gave a scenario. And then I talked about, what about, what about your employees? Who's calling the next day? Your employees are going to be worried. They're worried about you. What happened to you? But the first thing that an employee thinks of is, oh my goodness, oh, that's horrible. And the second thing to think of is, am I going to lose my job? So who's making the employees feel like there's consistency in a plan? And the person I was talking to just slowly but surely started going lighter, whiter, finally ghost-like, and looked at me and went, oh, okay, yeah, no, I need you. I'm like, because people aren't really thinking about all of that. And so there's a client of mine that went through the Embark program and is great, and we touch base and really working hard on their succession plan, and has a business partner, and they work really hard, and we've touch base meetings, and we're and this happened. So they bring like pastries and bagels or whatever into the office on Friday, let's just say every Friday, and they have a local bakery that provides it. And horribly, one Saturday, the bakery owner got into a car accident and died instantly in this car accident. And my client, the first thing she thought was, oh no, that's terrible. And the second thing she thought was, oh no, I have to find somewhere else to get my bagels for Friday. Okay.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
Right?
I was there long before you said it out loud.
Right? Yeah. Oh no, where am I going to get my bagels? And so, but she said that it was like Monday or Tuesday, right after the accident, everyone got an email from the bakery saying, yes, this is horrible. Yes, this is sad. We're mourning, but please be assured we've had a plan. We've been working on our succession plan. We have a plan in place, and everyone's orders will be fine. And first thing she went where there was, oh yay, I don't have to find a new bakery. And the second thing she thought was, oh, that's what she's been trying to tell me all along.
The bagel guy can do it, so can I.
But this is what Susan's been telling me. Wait a second, right? And I said, exactly, that is what I've been trying to tell you. And it's a bakery, but this bakery had an email prepared, and I'm sure there was a different message that went out even to its employees. And this is what we're working on, because these things happen. Right. And if you have a plan in place, right, then all you have to do is make everyone feel like everything's going to be okay. And then I do talk about, then there's, shut the office door and scream and go, oh my goodness, the world is on fire and I don't know what I'm doing. But then you walk back out that door and everything's fine, right? And so you need to have that plan in place if you want the value of your business to survive that event.
Okay. Wow. Brought up a thought. So
was it about bagels?
Actually, no. Wow, I had a non-food related thought. Okay. So we were talking about the intersection between our two businesses, but one of the things with our business is it requires annual maintenance. There are things that you have to do every year for the IRS, and you will get a little unhappy. What about somebody has a business plan with you? How often do they have to go back to it? Do you just, as part of the business succession plan, these are the metrics you pay attention to come back and have a look at it? Is that,
there is that. That's from a financial perspective. But for me, it's more about the people. It's more about the names, the people, the roles, the where is your business, right? Because if your plan is for Sally to take over payroll, does Sally still work there?
Okay, so even if the value has changed, okay, as long as Frank and Sally were part of Plan A, they're still there. Right. We don't need to change the business plan.
Or have you added? So if you've added on, you're bigger. You've got more assets to it. Now, how are we managing that, and how do we adjust all of this, right? And so, I'm not drafting the email that might go out to your vendors. There's crisis communication teams that can do that. But I'm just having a touch base of where are you at in your journey? Where are your people at? Or do we still have the right person in that power of attorney role? Do we still have, so I have a program, or one of the things that I suggest to clients, I call it, for lack of a better word, because I'm not a marketing person, I call it the 30, 60, 90 plan. And that's the 30 days after the event, this is the person making decisions, and this is how they're able to make decisions. 60 days, it might change, and 90 days, it might change. And what I mean by that is you might have a trusted advisor come in, and while your spouse is at your bedside dealing with your problems, able to make all decisions with autonomy for 30 days, just as long as they keep the family in the loop. And then maybe at 60 days, they need to give the family, 24 hours or 48 hours notice before any decisions are made, so that they can interject. And then maybe, right. So we're talking about a plan. And so who are these people that are involved in these very important plans? Are they still around? Are they still the right people? Do we need to add people? Are there different decisions to make? So to me, that's where we're touching base, and where are we at with the progress? This is still the planning phase. Once we're in the documentation phase, right? If we've actually put documents together where certain employees have the rights to buy in, that's a different monitoring at that point of where are we at with those documents. So I'm really coming in in a phase before we've even created documents to help you get ready for the documents. And then we start documenting when we're sure we've got the pieces in place.
Don't take this the wrong way. Where did you learn how to do this?
From representing businesses for 25 years and having my own business.
Because this isn't a subclass you get at law school.
No, this is not.
This is seeing what's happened.
This is seeing what's happened to my clients. My clients who have, I've had clients drop dead when we were 2 weeks out to a closing. You know, we hadn't signed the documents yet, but they're about to sell the business. And what happened in that situation? This is a client that had an illness and wasn't expected, suddenly went into a coma and was in a coma for over 30 days. And then came out and then was in therapy and came back to a business that was gone because during that time, no one had authority to make decisions and it was a hot mess. I mean, this is 25 years of, I could go on and on and on and on of situations. And I realized, okay, we need to come up with a solution. I need to stop being reactive. I need to be proactive, right? I need to help my businesses get in a position where they're prepared for this rather than, and frankly, I can make more money waiting until the disaster struck, right? I mean, you can. It's pay me now or pay me later. It's true, right? The cleaning up a disaster will cost a lot more than putting a plan together in place. Yeah. But I'd rather be part of that proactive plan than the reactive plan. Okay. But yeah, that's how I've learned how to do it. It helps that I'm a business owner myself, so I see things differently. A lot of attorneys they might be partners, but they rose up through the ranks from associate and junior, senior associate and junior partner or whatever into a well-established. That is very different. I quit a job that was paying me money and had nothing and looked at two business partners. We had a lease and we had a rug and a bottle of wine. It wasn't Skywalker, but it was something else. And we had a bottle of wine and we looked at each other and went, well, this better work. Yeah. Right? And so I have that experience of actually being an entrepreneur and starting a business and building all of this and then seeing what's happened to others.
So did you do the one for your firm or did you hire it out?
For our firm, we did it ourselves internally, but we have great coaches. We've worked with different business coaches that have come in. We have a great accounting firm. I know my 401k is fine because I have a great team.
We'll always take care of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, but so while we did...
You outsource that part.
Right, so we've done the designs and the plan and all of that, we absolutely bring in outside opinions because you really shouldn't do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I think we should wrap this all up because we did wrap it up. Though I think after talking all of this, I do want to see the business case study of what the Empire should have done.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? I really want to see because when you talk about it, it's really
what the Empire should have done, or the Skywalker should have done.
The Skywalkers. It was
the Emperor should have done.
What the Emperor? Okay.
But I think you actually have a case study, and it looks, and you can do an amazing job on that. And it's like, what would you have done for succession planning? What did they do?
In that situation, the Skywalkers and other really bad succession plans. Show up for that day.
That's just a great. I think it's a book. That's a book.
But it's also a fun day where we drink Skywalker wine and I show up in cosplay.
Okay.
So how bad was the show Succession?
I haven't seen Succession actually. I know you can definitely come in. I'd love it. I'd love it.
Okay.
That's one lightsaber I don't have. I don't have Leia's lightsaber. What should people do?
Like, subscribe.
Yeah, okay, I'm just making sure we're closing. Okay.
So I am available for lightsaber consultations.
That would be
lightsaber maintenance and consultations.
Okay. If you would like to know.
I would say if you want to cut the crap out of your succession plan, right?
I don't know what Zach is going to do with the sound for the microphones.
We have
he's only going to can only do so. Okay, this has been an absolute treat. Okay. Okay.
I feel like there needs to be a Tipper lightsaber battle.
Yeah, but I'm terribly afraid of buying one of these things because I'm breaking it. So
no, it's fine.
I always thought we could touch them and they don't. They don't.
Mine makes
That's
noise.
the battle grade one that you have that's charging.
Okay, they don't.
So the one that I brought that I hadn't charged sufficiently, and next time I'll bring that. I've got 2 of them, are made for lightsaber competitions and actually have
all right.
sound on impact. Yeah.
So this is Christopher,
And this is Kat.
and that's Catherine, and we are your favorite
for
401
lightsaber?
couple. I'm trying to wait for her to turn it off. She missed her cue, but that's okay. Our lovely guest today has been Susan Dawson. Thank you very much. And the provider of Happy Treats. Thank you again. I have a very different day now. You guys know what to do.
So if you want your day brightened up, please call Susan up
Yeah.
to do
Call us
succession
at
planning
sales at Hunter Benefits.
with lightsabers, and you will feel much better.
Fun.
Yes, obviously. Definitely.
That's always been
Definitely.
true. I always think that you have.
Yes, absolutely. So you know what to do. Like, subscribe, tell your friends and neighbors, tell the people you don't like to watch, at least comment, okay? And of course, most importantly, don't forget to keep those cards and letters coming.